What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got an excellent display of just pretty much Six Samurai offense that I am pretty sure would beat most decks in the meta if you allow a player to pop off this hard. I know you guys are looking at that opening hand, you're staring at that Gateway of the Six, and you're thinking, all right, we've seen this before. Gateway is pretty much going to lead to the pop off. You would be mistaken. Gateway's not actually even going to be on the board when this guy starts going ham. And the thing about Six Samurai, I think it kind of gets forgotten. They have so many cards that can facilitate them adding cards to the hand, and they have so many ways to explode because they have a card very similar to this in Shien's Dojo, which also can be strong. Not as good as Gateway, but it's kind of like a mini Gateway if you can keep using it over and over again. When you have cards like Isode and you have other ways of getting monsters to the hand, it's actually quite easy to explode with Six Samurai, especially, well, you know, Six Samurai United adds cards to your hand, especially when you have ways of getting those cards in your hand onto the field, something like Saryuja Scoldred. So Six Samurai can be very, very explosive. You add in a Bamboo Engine for even more pluses. Now he's doing against a Galaxy build, which is a deck that I'm actually starting to like more and more, especially when we get number 90 to the TCG in Battles of Legends. But man, I don't believe in Cypher, dude. I think that Galaxy's fine, Photon is fine, but Kaito's third archetype from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, which if you don't know, he played Galaxy and he played like Photon and Zexal, and then they gave him Cypher and Arc V, and it's like I think it's just too much. They really haven't supported Cypher as much as the other two archetypes, so I feel like Konami kind of needs to revamp that archetype before people can really start playing the cards. They're just underdeveloped. Anyways, let me go ahead and roll it, and you guys will see the pop off that I'm talking about. So Galaxy is up first, gets the big dragon in the graveyard. He's going to revive it with Night. Then he's going to go for number 90, which is a pretty strong board because you see right here he has 3 cards, but he's instantly going to get that +1. And then he has a negation as well. If you can get a +1 and have a negation for another potential plus, what more can you ask for at that point? His opponent's going to try and make a pretty decent board. He's going to use a negation there, but negation is not going to be all that good, simply because he has Gateway of the Six. And when you have Gateway of the Six, you pretty much have an unlimited amount of Keyzons because you can just like get them over and over again. Now I don't know what this is about. Like, I usually don't see Shadow like summoned in the extra monster zone as like the first monster. That's just kind of weird. The only way I would summon Shadow as my first extra deck monster is if maybe my opponent had a link, they had like a link monster that pointed up towards me, like Decode or, you know, Saryuja Scoldred. Okay, maybe I'd consider it, but in general I don't think you should be summoning like Shadow. It's not really that, it wasn't even that good when it came out. Like, it wasn't even gooder, that's not a word. It wasn't even better than, you know, it wasn't even better than Shien. So he's gonna get punished here for going for a less than optimal play. As I said, he already lost his Gateway. He's going to lose Shadow, and he's going to lose almost his entire field. And Six Samurai can fight back through that though, because they have cards like Invoker, because you have Isode. You have so many ways of getting monsters on the board into your hand. Do not sleep on Six Samurai just because they don't have the Gateway on board. They can still do powerful things. This guy basically is just a floater. He's going to go for Isode, which is another floater. It also gets the Bamboo into the graveyard. That's a plus. He gets Fuma. That's another plus. And then he just gets to draw. Now he has United. He's probably going to get to Dojo, and boom, the pluses are just rolling. Now he has one of his power cards in Six Samurai, or not Six Samurai United, but Soul Charge, and he has Monster Reborn as well. So at this point, even after resolving the Soul Charge, you know that he can still pop off harder than this because he still has Asceticism and he has Monster Reborn in his hand. And if he goes for Saryuja Scoldred, he can start special summoning from the hand as well. I didn't know what he was quite doing here, but he's going to make the use, or he's going to make the most out of it. Now, this is already bad enough because he's summoning number 86. And if you've ever seen somebody play this in like Tellarknights, if it gets to like 4 or 5 materials, you're probably going to lose because you can't normal summon or special summon at that point. All you can do is just set monsters and just be like killed by your opponent. He is going for Saryuja. He's going to draw more cards. He's going to go for Anishi. He's going to Monster Reborn Shien. You knew Shien was going to be on the board. Then he summons Great Shogun Shien. He's going to nuke his opponent's entire board. The only reason this guy got a pointless turn is because he didn't have a battle phase, obviously because of Soul Charge. So now you look at this board and you think, okay, We've got obviously summon suppression, which is number 86. We've got an Anishi that can bounce any card or any monster that I put on the field, which I don't know if I'm really going to be able to put monsters on the field because of this. He also has Six Samurai Shien, who can negate a Speller Trap, and then he has this guy who suppresses you into only being able to activate one Speller Trap per turn. Yeah, you have fun with that. You have fun trying to deal with this board, as at this point, watch him actually just play, like, this is for style points. Bouncing his own monster, summoning Kageki to summon the Anishi from his hand, giving the monster more attack, like, you know, using the cunning to summon his own legendary Six Samurai Shien back so it can attack twice. Like, this is all style points. He knew that he was gonna win no matter what. Even if his opponent had Goers or Battle Fader, he would not have been able to summon it, and it's just GG Nori at that point. Very, very explosive plays by Six Samurai. I feel like somebody might want the deck list. I'll show it off. I'm not really going to explain anything because most of the cards in Six Samurai are, you know, outside of the extra deck cards. They're still just, you know, they're still old ass GX and 5Ds cards. So not a lot has really changed. It's just some of the window dressing in Six Samurai has changed. Okay, so here's what the deck looks like on paper, and as I said before, not a lot of new cards in this build, so I really don't have to explain much. Most of the monsters in the main deck are fairly old. A lot of cards from like GX and from 5Ds, they're still really good. A lot of them, well, you know, back in GX and 5Ds, there weren't any hard once per turns, which is why cards like Gateway and Sheen's Dojo can be so exploitable, especially when you combine that with Link Summoning. There are some new monsters from the Spirit Warriors set. Cards like Fuma that you can summon from the deck off of Isode, because you basically just drop like a bamboo sword in the graveyard, summon Fuma, it's a Link material at that point. It also like gives you another monster as well, and then your Isode will give you another monster. The extra deck, outside of, well, I mean, everything even from the extra deck, like, I guess you can call these sort of new because these two are from Extreme Force. Well, actually, no, this rank 3, this is a new card. In fact, I don't even have the image of it. I gotta download it, but this is a new card that we don't have in the TCG, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I mean, I think that it's mainly just there. Well, in that duel, it didn't really serve much of a purpose. It was just the fact that it was a rank 3 warrior monster, which I guess, could you run Dante in that? Could you just make this Dante to make it a TCG build? I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to research that, but for the most part, I don't think that it would be all that relevant where you wouldn't be able to do some of the plays.